Hey practice buddies. So today I thought we'd go over Allegretto. Allegretto is a special one for two reasons. The first is that it's mainly on the D string, and that's a sound which is edging towards the
dark side.
The other reason that it's special is because it's paired with another piece called Andantino, which is very similar. In a way, it's a bit like what happens when you combine a blue lightsaber with a red one. What happens? We'll have to find out after we've learned both pieces. So let's go ahead and, as usual, sing along for the first playthrough. I'll put the music up and the numbers. You can warm up with singing. Let me just have a check that my music is on the stand securely. Oh, maybe I should turn to the actual piece. Okay, so now that that's all set, let's actually sing along, and then after that I'll tell you why Allegretto trains you for the blue lightsaber. Nice singing, well done. Okay, so if you remember in the other video about Go Tell Aunt Rhody, where you had to go and ask her for the music, and the only way to defeat her was with the blue lightsaber, well, Allegretto is how you train to use the blue lightsaber. It starts on the D string, and it's mainly concerned with D, which is more of a
Dark side sound.
than the A and E, which are light side sounds. Let's go over that first line together. It's going to train you to use your fourth finger on D string, and that's going to help you to complete the rest of the piece. So, are you ready? Zip, step, shoulder width apart. Stop the traffic. Onto your shoulder. Bow parallel to the bridge. On the D string. So tilt. If you've put your bow on the A string, which you may very well have done because you're so used to it, you now have to tilt to the D string. Lift your elbow up a bit. That's the elbow of your right hand, so that your bow comes down to the D. 1, 2, go. Well done for getting through the first line with a perfect fourth finger on D. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to play the whole thing from beginning to end, and after that our Jedi training begins. We're going to go line by line, making sure those fourth fingers on D are correct and that you're comfortable with them, and so that you're finally ready to wield the blue lightsaber with confidence and accuracy. Okay, are you ready? Zip, step, feet, shoulder width apart. Stop the traffic again, onto the shoulder. Let's go to the D string, and we're going to play the whole thing all the way through at quite the pace. 1, 2, go. Great stuff, guys. Well done. Now, let me just have a look at the music to confirm something. I was thinking that maybe Yeah, I just wanted to... Yeah, there's a fermata. Okay, so let's break it down line by line. We've already done the first line, so let's skip now to the second line. The second line is very similar to the first. You know how we were talking about the musical sandwich in the previous video? Well, if you think of a sandwich in which you've got the layer of bread, but with tomatoes on top of that, and beneath the bread layer, the cheese, and then another bread. That's how this piece is constructed. So it goes tomatoes, bread, cheese, bread. So the second line is the bread, and it starts with what we call an upbeat. Those are the two quavers from the previous line, or eighth notes. So let's play the second line. You ready? Zip, step, stop the traffic. Onto the shoulder. Starts with D, 1, 2. It's a slightly different set of notes though. 1, 2, go. So if you noticed, the first line and the second line are not that different. In fact, they're almost identical. The first line being the tomatoes and the second line being the bread. The bread only differs from the tomatoes because of 2 eighth notes and 1 minute. So the first line's ending is this. And the second line's ending is this. So the second line kind of skips a couple of notes. So that word skip, that's often what we use as a word for the memory marker, which tells you the difference between the first line and the second line and tells you where you are in the music, just in case you're not using the music. Now let's move on to the third line. That's also got an upbeat, by the way. 2 quaver notes, or 2 eighth notes if you prefer. So zip, step, stop the traffic, onto the shoulder, get ready to play the third line. 1, 2, go. So there's a couple of things about that line. First thing, you go on to the G. The G is the
Darkest of all the strings.
The G is where you meet the red lightsaber. But we'll save that for another video. Also, the third line has what's called a fermata, as I mentioned earlier. A fermata is a place to express something special in the music. For instance, like a slow down for a peaceful thought, or for an expectation of something about to happen, which in this case will be the fourth line. The fourth line also starts with an upbeat. Remember, we're now at the bread of the musical sandwich, the final line, which is going to be the same as the second line. 1, 2, go. And if you followed along with this training, you should now have played all 4 of those lines separately. If you need to go over anything, just skip back in the video to the appropriate line. I can put timestamps in the description below. Okay, so we are going to play the whole thing all the way through. And if you manage to do the same after mastering the 4th finger on D and getting those string crossings, the fermata, and being able to express the feeling of the music and not just play the notes, you are on the path to mastering the Blue Lightsaber. Zip, step, stop the traffic, take a breath. Remember the structure? Tomato, bread, cheese, bread. 1, 2, go. Well done, and congratulations for staying till the end of the video and practicing so hard. In the next video, we're going to learn all about Andantino and the Red Lightsaber, and then we're going to find out what happens when you combine blue and red together. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. This was a long one and you worked very hard. Well done. D string is really important and quite a difficult string to master. Fourth finger as well. The fact that you're practicing and you got to this point is a great sign. Well done again. Thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. I'll see you on the next one and
keep practicing.